Okay, just had a nice ringneck double flip. Two adult ringnecks under one rock. Pretty cool. Such gorgeous snakes. I'm in the Santa Cruz Mountains and they are just breathtaking here. Here's a young western rattlesnake under a redwood canopy, which is kind of interesting. They often hunker down around the edges of trees and logs like this, in a nice ambush position. He will probably stay here for quite a while if undisturbed, waiting for a small rodent or a lizard to come by. See, it's a very calm animal. That tongue is just coming out, picking up particles in the air. He's taking in that there's people present. But he's still hoping that he hasn't been spotted. So, hot on the trail of a cool lizard right here. That is a California whiptail. They are extremely fast and rarely stop moving when they're active. I'm not even going to really make an attempt to catch him. Here's a nice little bobcat. He is actually not looking particularly good. Looks very scrawny. Hopefully he'll get some food. So this is pretty cool. Have a couple of western toads sitting at the edge of a pond under a log. I usually see these in a much more terrestrial habit, so it's interesting to see them like this. So this is an adult California king snake, which was spotted here in this creek wash. Snakes this time of year will be coming into closer vicinity to areas that have water sources as this region becomes drier and drier. That's a cool snake. Nice red southern alligator lizard. Really gorgeous. There's a pretty sizable western rattlesnake shed skin in here. I don't know if you can see it with the lighting. It's pretty long. Well, it's midway through summer now. It's getting to be that time of year. Sorry, it's hard to focus on such a small animal. Where baby lizards are hatching. This is a western fence lizard, Sceloporus occidentalis, and they start out really, really tiny. Here's a southern alligator lizard. Thought I'd show these guys a little bit more because I don't do that enough lately, and herping in the dry season is pretty rough, so take what you can get, right? See that? He went straight into the leaf litter. So here we have a California ground squirrel trying to escort this western rattlesnake out of the area. So ground squirrels actually have a resistance to rattlesnake venom. You can see that high tail that the squirrel's putting up. So that was really cool. When I got a little close, the squirrel decided to back off and go back to its own area. But I would not have probably seen the snake if I didn't recognize the display that the squirrel was putting on. So that's pretty cool. He's in the shade now, which is better on this sort of very hot day. Really nice to see a snake out when it's so dry. Very cool. Here you can really see that the snake has a lot of segments on its rattle. I think I counted 11 or 12. The segments can't really tell you how old the snake is. Like they don't shed once every just once a year. It can be much more variable than that. They do add a new segment each time they shed though, but sometimes pieces or the entire rattle falls off. This one you can see that the rattle tapers, so this is not a particularly old snake. When you see a long rattle that is pretty much parallel and doesn't taper like that, you have big segments all the way down, that tells you that the snake has been large for quite a long time. So I just came across this really awesome California striped racer. Look at that snake. So these guys often get confused for garter snakes. You can see why. They have the same basic coloration and with long stripes that go all the way down the body. It's very similar to how a garter snake looks. But if you notice, most garter snakes have a mid-dorsal stripe that goes all the way along the back down the spine. While this snake only has the two stripes on the side. Of course, there's other garter snakes that don't feature that exact patterning, but in general, where these snakes overlap the most, that's a good way to tell them apart. Snakes are super fast, as the name racer implies. You can see those big eyes. You can tell this is a diurnal snake. It relies heavily on its vision, and it's an active hunter that can chase down prey when it needs to. These snakes are pretty defensive. Sometimes they can be a little bit bitey, but that is totally understandable when you catch them. I just have a hold of his tail right now. I'm just holding gently. You can see he's just kind of assessing his situation. These are good climbers. They'll often climb up into shrubs or trees. I don't know if he's going to do that now, but they have a good capability of that. What a beautiful snake. This is cool. There's another striped racer. Just a couple minutes down the trail from where I saw the first one. I'm pretty sure it's not the same one. It looks a little bit smaller. What a gorgeous snake. Look at it. With its head poking up like that. It's called periscoping. And racers and related snakes will often do this behavior. Helps them get a nicer vantage point of their habitat. Might be kind of hard to see, but if you look at the middle of the screen, this is that same striped racer we just saw. He got spooked and darted up into the low branches of this oak. Super cool. We'll have to excuse the sound of the road if that's an issue. But just found this really pretty northern alligator lizard. Gorgeous. Might be gravid. Very plump looking. Love the coloration though. Sorry about the cars. It's just on the side of the road. I'm gonna take it a little further off. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there's a little side-blotched lizard a baby, towards the center of the screen. I'm in Santa Cruz County right now. So, some say these sidewatch lizards were introduced here. I don't think it's known for certain though. And I just turned around and noticed this gorgeous western rattlesnake. What a beauty. It almost looks axanthic, lacking the red and yellow pigment that produce the usual kind of brown coloration. It's very grayscale looking, which is interesting. Beautiful. Cool looking snake. Here's another roadside alligator lizard. This one is gorgeous. Look at the red. It's a northern alligator lizard, by the way. You can also see it has that reduced pattern. Pretty much patternless, like the one in the other video I posted a while back. What a stunning animal. And again, sorry for the sound of cars going by. I was just walking along, came across this nice little baby rattlesnake. It's a western rattlesnake. And he's just kind of sitting tucked between these two pieces of sandstone, sunning himself. It's not too hot yet. What a beautiful little snake. This is probably a baby from last year. Baby season will be here soon, and when they're first born, they're quite a bit smaller than this one. I'm not going to put my hand there for scale though, for obvious reasons. Gorgeous. So this is an unfortunate occurrence that happens a lot around busy roadways that cut through wildlife habitat. Here we had a really gorgeous adult California king snake that got hit by a car and obviously didn't make it. I just pulled it out of the road so that any vultures or anything that decide to snack on it won't get hit as well. But yeah, sucks. This is a coast garter snake, or western terrestrial garter snake. It's really pretty. Such high contrast between the bright yellow stripe and the black coloration with the little flecks of red. So I'm in the Diablo mountain range right now, and these are not quite as common here as they are, you know, in the Santa Cruz mountains and other places along the coast. But they're not a super rare snake either. This one has lower red than a lot of coast garter snakes that you'll see, like in Santa Cruz County, in San Mateo County. They often have a lot more red than this. But this is a really pretty one, if you ask me. Get his tongue going. Water's getting increasingly scarce in this area, so let this snake get away. Looks so cool moving through the water. Almost walked right past this guy. This is a Diablo Range aquatic garter snake. One way I tell them apart is the upper labial scales. So you can see the scales along the upper lip. Those are the upper labials. And they are enlarged around the eye and past the eye on the terrestrial garter snakes. And this species, they aren't so enlarged most of the time. To get a positive ID, you'd have to get a much better look at the scales on the chin and counting the labial scales. But I kind of know just from the general appearance that this is the aquatic garter snake, whereas the last one was the terrestrial. Just noticed this little bit of dead rattlesnake in the puddle here. I wonder what killed it. Maybe a red-tailed hawk. I see a red-tailed hawk tail feather right there. That's too bad. I'd like to see a live one today. Can't see him very well, but right in the center of the screen there is a... Sorry, I'm zoomed in, so it's not working very well. There's a California red-legged frog. So this is a threatened species, both the state and federal level. They're not doing that well because they've been largely supplanted by the invasive American bullfrog. He's on the other side of the stream, so I can't really get to him to get a better look, but maybe we'll see another one. Here's a slightly better look at a red-legged frog. It's pretty dark in there though, so you really can't see him that well. You definitely can't see the coloration. That's quite a big one though. Actually see another one over there. I don't think you can really see him in the video though. Sorry. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. There you go. Kind of. Here's a look at the other one I was just talking about. You can see that the head is poking out of the water and facing toward me. You can see the two bulging eyes on the top. The ones here look pretty dark. Not a ton of red coloration, but they vary a lot. Just caught this nice California red-sided garter snake. Really cool. This is in the Diablo range, and you might notice that this snake has pretty much a yellow dorsal stripe, whereas the in other parts of the range, kind of in the Santa Cruz Mountains and other areas, like in Marin County, they're much more blue, similar to the San Francisco garter snake. So that's a interesting little polymorphism. So this is a subspecies of the common garter snake. And I just found him cruising around in the water, kind of patrolling, probably looking for frogs and stuff. One of their main prey items. Super cool. So I actually saw two of these guys, but one of them dove down in the water pretty quickly before I could grab it. So I just got one of them. But I just started walking along the water, so I'm gonna keep going and see if I can find a few more. This is exactly what I was hoping to see today though, so very gratifying. See it slither into the reeds here. Isn't that cool? Into the water. So, I don't know if you can see, in the center of the screen, under the water, at the very bottom, there is a foothill yellow-legged frog, or a boily eye. This is another one of our California natives. They aren't threatened like the red-legged frog, but they are a California species of special concern, and the IUCN, or International Union for the Conservation of Nature, classifies them as vulnerable, I believe. So, another imperiled amphibian. Here's another foothills yellow-legged frog. This is a little juvenile. Sorry about the wind. The sound of a truck passing by on the service road. And then over here, we have another adult hanging out on that leaf there, in the middle of the stream. These are such cool frogs. So this little one is probably young of the year. So good that they're having successful reproduction along this creek. Very cool. Here's another one towards the center of the screen. I've seen 5 or 6 now right here in the past few minutes. Good little spot for them. Here's another little juvenile. This is actually the 16th one I've seen today. It's quite a dark individual. Actually, I see another one over here, but the right side of that rock that's sticking out of the water. But that might be one of the ones that just flushed in as I was walking up. So very abundant here, but it's only been 3 adults, and all the rest have been these little juveniles.